Looks like we got some more new faces joining the Sox this spring. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and thank you very much for clicking on this video. According to a few different sources here, the Red Sox are going to have some new faces in camp this spring training, as they've signed a couple of minor league deals with invites to big league camps. So we're going to be going over them today, what they could mean, and if they could impact the Red Sox in 2025. And we got to start, I think chronologically, we're just going to go through these guys in order that they were signed, starting with a report from Hunter Knoll on Twitter. And according to him, the Red Sox signed left-handed reliever Eric Rivera, who is a 21-year-old prospect out of Puerto Rico. He isn't going to get a ton of time this video. He was pretty solid last season in the high A area with another team. So I guess someone to pay attention to a little bit. But again, not really someone who's going to impact the Red Sox or has any chance of impacting the Red Sox at all this season. So we're just going to sort of leave him there. If he does end up making some noise, we'll absolutely talk about him. It's just something I wanted you guys to know. The other one that the Red Sox signed yesterday, according to Hunter Knoll, is outfielder Trayce Thompson, who was signed again on a minor league deal with an invite to spring training. This is the first player we are talking about in this video. Fun fact about him, he is the brother of NBA star, or I guess former star. I don't really know where you guys put Klay Thompson at this point. I don't really pay much attention to the NBA, so you can let me know in the comment section down below. But he's the brother of Klay Thompson, who at one point was a splash bro with Steph Curry, something that apparently gets said every single time he's up to the plate, at least at the major league level, which means Nesson is going to be all over this if he gets some at-bats in MLB this year, right? I mean, last year, how many times did we hear that Cam Boozer was a carpenter or left baseball? Probably about 150. I don't know. They were talking about Cam Boozer's carpentry work even when Cam Boozer wasn't in the game. That is totally besides the point. Trayce, in my opinion, and I think most people's opinions, was signed strictly as a depth piece, right? This is a guy who most likely is not going to touch the major league field for the Red Sox this season, at least not in terms of best case scenario, but he is kind of an intriguing bat. His last appearance in Major League Baseball with a larger sample size didn't exactly go super well. It was a 163 average with a 285 on base percentage and a 294 slug for a 60 OPS plus. That's 40% below league average production in 72 games back in 2023, which was his last partial season at the major league level. Yeah, not exactly the statistics you're looking for to be an everyday starter on a major league club, right? But Trayce wasn't signed to be an everyday starter on the major league club, and there have been some really intriguing seasons that Trayce Thompson had at the major league level. The year before that, in 2022, he also got about a half season in MLB, playing about 80 games, mostly with the Dodgers, and during that season, he was a legitimately impactful player. He had a 265 average, a 353 on base percentage, and a 507 slug for a 135 OPS plus. That's 35% above league average production, right? So he's kind of either 40% below, 35% above. Can't really seem to hit that average mark, which is kind of funny to me, but that's again besides the point. He also had 14 home runs during that 80-game stretch with the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's a little bit of pop, right? It's kind of interesting to me. Last year, the Red Sox didn't really have a ton of depth in their minor league system, at least for these sort of like veteran plug-and-play type players, the guys that, you know, if worst-case scenario were to happen, they can just sort of throw into the mix here and not really worry about, oh no, what do we do with them when everyone gets healthy? Last year, it was Jamie Westbrook, who really hadn't had a truly productive season at any point in Major League Baseball, so bringing him up, there wasn't really much else to expect but a not super productive player, and he did help the Red Sox through some stretches at some point, but overall, right, not exactly the most fantastic depth in the world. This year, things look a little bit different. Not only do you have top prospects that are making their way up, but you also have signed a couple of guys now in different roles in terms of position players that could be that sort of journeyman depth that the Red Sox could really use. I go over this every time we have a conversation about any types of these signings because people immediately go, oh, this is a dumpster dive. It's the Red Sox cheaping out again, which, by the way, it kind of rings a little bit empty right now, guys. guys, right? Especially after they just signed that massive Bregman deal. It's tough to say that the Red Sox are cheap at this point in time. Still some merit to it for sure, and I'm sure there's still going to be people that say it, but I don't think it rings as true as it has in weeks past. What I will say is that this isn't a dumpster dive. A dumpster dive would be signing this guy and then trying to say this is going to be our starting left fielder. Guys, we think we got something here, right? No, this is a kind of signing that has absolutely no hopeful impact on the Red Sox. And what I mean by that is this is creating a safety net for Boston. If everything goes wrong, if you have to break glass in case of an apocalypse, Trayce Thompson is there, and he can come in here and he can fill out a role for a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever it may be, and help the Red Sox stay afloat. And ultimately, that's the goal with these types of signings, right? If something bad happens, the Red Sox don't fully fall out of contention. Now, the outfield's a little bit of an interesting one because if Jarren Duran goes down and you got to bring up Trayce Thompson because Roman Anthony can't handle Major League Baseball, regardless of how well Trayce Thompson does, you're probably still in a really tough position. But if let's say Jarren Duran pulls a hamstring and he's out for 2 weeks, and Roman Anthony isn't quite ready for Major League Baseball yet, you bring up Trayce for a week or two, you say, look, dude, all we need you to do is play solid defense and give us a few hits here and there, and we should be able to hopefully make up the difference for Duran over a week or so. And when he comes back, well, guess what? You're all perfectly fine moving on from Trayce Thompson. I think that's a really great thing for the Red Sox to have. The larger their safety net is, the more prepared they are going to be for every situation. So these types of signings don't really do anything to the ceiling of the Red Sox, but they create that safety net that they really could desperately use and continue to build. There's a reason why every team in Major League Baseball makes a ton of these minor league signings. There's a reason why you invite so many guys to spring training, and that's because the baseball season is long and 1,000 different scenarios that you probably never predicted end up popping up during that long time span. So the amount of different backup plans you can have, or the largest amount of backup plans you can have, the better off you're going to be. So I'm never going to poo-poo a minor league signing like this. It could end up saving the Red Sox during a 3-game stretch in the middle of August. We just don't know. I don't see a ton of playing time for Trayce Thompson, right? You've got a pretty loaded outfield, and even if someone does get injured, you've got Massa, Refsnyder, Roman Anthony, who aren't even projected starters in the outfield, who can all take over a position out there and probably give you bare minimum average to above average play at the plate. I don't know so much about defense with Massa, but you're probably getting above average to average defense with Ref and Roman Anthony as well. So probably not a ton of room for playing time, but again, he's that break glass in case of emergency option. The other signing the Red Sox made was actually just this morning when Jon Heyman earlier today announced that the Red Sox had signed reliever Adam Ottavino to a minor league deal. Now, I assume most of you guys recognize that name. Yes, Adam Ottavino was a reliever for the Boston Red Sox at one point. In fact, it was back in 2021. He's coming off of a full season in Major League Baseball, and it was okay-ish, right? It wasn't exactly fantastic. It wasn't totally terrible either. It was a 4.34 ERA with the FIP that was much lower at 3.67, so could be some unluckiness on the mound there for him. The WHIP was at 1.286, and the ERA plus was at 91, so he was 9% less productive than your average reliever. With the Sox back in that super fun 2021 season, that one that kind of lives in memory as sort of a what could have been had Las Diaz actually given the Red Sox that strike call. Different conversation. I've said that a lot this video, huh? Either way, he was about the same with the Sox back in 21, where he had a 4.21 ERA, a 3.96 FIP. The WHIP was a bit higher at 1.452, and the ERA plus was at 112, which is 12% above league average production. He was also a pretty solid reliever for the Sox out of the bullpen in the postseason. 1 earned run in 4 innings with 5 appearances isn't all that bad. I'm actually incredibly intrigued by this signing. Trayce Thompson, in my opinion, has little to no shot of making the big league roster for the Red Sox. I don't know if the same can be said for Adam Ottavino. I think there's a legitimate chance here the Red Sox give him a shot to earn a place on this big league club. It's going to be a massive fight for the bullpen. There always is a massive fight for the bullpen, and bringing in Adam Ottavino just makes it that much more difficult. But I do think there is the potential possibility that Adam Ottavino comes out of camp with the Red Sox. I don't know how high it is. I don't know how likely it is either, but I do think it's there because there could be something here with Adam Ottavino. And I know that sounds kind of crazy to say about a 39-year-old signed on a minor league deal, but outside of 24, 2023 and 2022 were really good seasons for Ottavino with the New York Mets. In fact, between the two seasons, he pitched 127 innings, which, by the way, is a really big amount of innings for a reliever, right? That is a full-packed season as a reliever for the New York Mets. And during that time, he had a 2.62 ERA with a 3.66 FIP, a 1.092 WHIP, and a 1.54 ERA plus. He was 54% more productive than the average reliever in Major League Baseball. If the Red Sox can find a way to get him even remotely close to back to what he was just a year ago, the Red Sox have a really intriguing relief option for them currently sitting on their invitee list coming into spring training, right? This is a guy who's got a ton of experience, who's had successful experience, who's been on a winning Red Sox team before. I'm wicked intrigued to see what Andrew Bailey could do with Adam Ottavino. I don't know, right? Is there something that they see here that he wasn't doing last year that he was doing in 23 and 22 that they could pull back out of him? If anyone can do it, I have a good feeling the Red Sox are going to be able to do that, right? They've done it with a bunch of other pitchers over this last year. I trust Andrew Bailey. I trust Craig Breslow when it comes to pitching conversations with the Boston Red Sox. So I sit here with this whole Adam Ottavino thing, and I'm incredibly intrigued. I do think there is a potential here that he breaks camp with the Red Sox. I would give that potential, I don't know, about a 20% shot, but the beauty of this signing is that you've got that major league potential, that veteran presence that you could hypothetically put in the bullpen, but even if you don't, you've got this guy sitting in the wings in minor league baseball. We go back to that conversation we have with Trayce Thompson. When you talk about the safety net with the Red Sox, you go from your safety net being Josh Winkowski in the rotation to Adam Ottavino, who's had really good success in Major League Baseball recently, as well as over his career, sitting in AAA, just waiting for his opportunity to hit it with the big league club. That is a massive difference, and I think that's a really big reason why fans and everyone should be pretty high on who the Red Sox could be this season in Major League Baseball. I know that sounds ridiculous, but depth is incredibly important in this game. Again, 162 games, 1,000 different things go wrong. Having this kind of depth is really great. So I'm going to be paying close attention to Adam Ottavino this spring. One interesting thing is that he was the last number 0 on the Sox. Now they got Walker Buehler. What number is he going to be if he breaks camp with the team? Those are the real important questions we got to answer on this channel, right? What number is Adam Ottavino going to be if he's with the Boston Red Sox? But seriously, I do think this was a really, really solid signing by this Red Sox team, and I do think Adam Ottavino has some potential here to be a legitimate impact pitcher. Hell, he even has experience as a closer. He closed some games for the Sox in 2021, 11 to be exact, or at least 11 successful ones, and then in 2022 and 2023, he had about 13 or 14 different saves. Now, I'm not saying this guy needs to be the closer for the Red Sox, as that would kind of be worst case scenario here if Hendricks, Slayton, even Chapman didn't work out, so he had to go to Adam Ottavino to close games. Sox bullpen would probably be in a pretty bad spot, but I'm just saying, right, this is kind of the type of player that we're talking about here. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to opening day 2025 and Adam Ottavino is your low leverage guy or even one of your middle type relievers, so 6th, 7th inning type guys. I really wouldn't be shocked by that. I think the Red Sox signed this guy with the intent to give him a legitimate chance at making the big league roster. So of the two, I'm definitely more intrigued by Adam Ottavino, and overall, it's always good for the Red Sox to continue to improve their depth. This is something that's sort of a river, it flows, right? Guys are going to come, guys are going to go, but it's always important for you to have as much physical major league depth as humanly possible, and the Red Sox continue this offseason to do a really good job of that. So let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about this? What do you think about Trayce Thompson? What do you think about Adam Ottavino? Is there one of these guys that you're more intrigued by? And where do you think they end up at the end of the day come spring training? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, if you guys have made it to the end of this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just helps out a ton. It's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Don't forget, if you guys want to listen instead of watch these episodes, best way to do that is to head over to your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seats.